Only our 10th Prime Minister can save Australia. Martin North, John Adams, in the interest of people. Hello, John.
Hello, sir. In our last conversation, when we said that Australia has run out of luck, and we talked about the state of the economy, we've talked about the response to COVID in terms of fiscal policy, monetary policy, and the hole is so big that we really can't dig out of ourselves. And we went through 10 steps as to why we don't think we can grow our way out of the debt like we did after World War II. And at the end of the conversation, I had 9 points and you added a 10th point. And you said political leadership is one of the big inhibiting factors about how can we recover as an economy, as a society from where we are today. And so the point of this episode is to say to you is that there's only one person who I believe can save the country. Now, the unfortunate thing is he's dead. But this individual, the 10th Prime Minister, he's probably one of my biggest political hero. And there is, once you look at the story of this man, so it's Joseph Lyons, who was the Prime Minister during the Great Depression. You learn about what I think is real political leadership, real statesmanship, and he is someone I think Australians should know a lot more about. And we're going to go through his life history. We're going to go through the context of his times, what he did as the Tasmanian Premier, and then what he did in federal parliament, which was unique in I think, in Australian federal political history, and the lessons we can draw from that in the current context. So that is the person we're talking about, the 10th Prime Minister. Right,
and it's probably worth saying that he's a pretty polarising figure even today, right? There are many people who really don't have much time for him.
Yes. We'll get into why that is, but he has, in many respects, been airbrushed from the history books, and a lot of Australians don't learn about him. And really, I didn't know anything about Joseph Lyons until I picked up a number of history books about Australia and started reading about what would actually happen before the Second World War. And once you actually go through the record, it is quite extraordinary. In my view, the most courageous Prime Minister we've ever had. And this may be controversial for some, but I think more courageous than Curtin in World War II. The most principled Prime Minister we've ever had. The most courageous, undefeated at the federal level in terms of when he was Prime Minister. Three consecutive election victories before he died in office in 1939. He saved Tasmania from bankruptcy. And then, having saved Tasmania, he went to the federal parliament and he saved the finances of the Australian government as well as the state governments as well during the Great Depression. So a huge record of achievement, principled leadership, and he was willing to put it all on the line because of love of country. And for those who are not aware, Joseph Lyons was initially in the Labor Party, and we typically don't view the Labor Party as a political party that saves governments from financial ruin. But this person was quite unique in that sense.
The result of the election has demonstrated to the world that the strong and solid common sense, which is characteristic of the British race, has asserted itself here as it has recently in the election in Great Britain. The only real choice the people had to make was for sound, sane finance and government as against plans for currency inflation and political control of currency and credit. The victory which our policy has achieved should do much to remove the fears regarding the future of Australia entertained by those who had followed with increasing anxiety the various monetary and other proposals of the Federal Labor Party in the past 12 months or more. These people may rest assured that Australia will now carry on the work of economic rehabilitation in a manner that will uphold British tradition.
Given his anti-debt anti-spending mentality, it actually led to his death. So Mr. Austerity, basically his austerity philosophy ultimately led to him dying in office because of huge arguments and the huge stress that he was under in that thing. So when I look at the totality of this political record of achievement, of saving his state, willing to throw his political career over a matter of public principle. And I've had some politicians that I've spoke to and have said, you name me a politician in the federal parliament today who's willing to resign from cabinet and willing to resign from their own party over a policy matter. There's no one in federal politics who's willing to do that today. And then he's rewarded with the biggest victory in Australian history, and he wins 2 consecutive elections, and 34-37, runs a very successful prime ministership, and resigns. He dies in office, immensely popular. In my mind, what a hero.
Well, and the economic record stands as well.
Absolutely, yeah. So it wasn't just he said he was going to do something and he believed it. When he did it, it actually worked.
So that's really interesting, John. But I guess the points we should be talking about, are broader because we are facing into a very similar situation today. And yet the question is, do we have anybody who would stand up and do the same thing?
Indeed. So in our last show, you said we don't have the political leadership. And I would agree. I can't find anyone who could turn around, and we just had the Queensland election yesterday. I dare say that that doesn't change anything. And we've recently had the ACT election and the Northern Territory election. That hasn't changed anything. So if we're going to have a chance of turning the economy around, whether it's about the household debt bubble, the foreign debt bubble, or this emerging public sector debt crisis that we're walking ourselves into over the next few years, we need completely new leadership, a completely new approach, someone who's willing to tell the public like it is, has the courage of their convictions, and willing to actually take it to the people, get elected, and actually get it done. And we have someone who has done that, a stellar record, and therefore I say, if you say, who is that person going to emerge? My message is only the 10th Prime Minister can save the country.